AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical, concierge nursing all over Louisiana, not just Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Thursday, we are steamrolling toward the weekend. Fantasy Blitz is later this hour. We've got Bill Bender of the Sporting News coming up in hour number 2. Lee Sterling with his best bets. Another 4-1 week for your boy Lee Sterling. Jay Phillips talking some Gamecocks. We got Mike Triplett in hour 3. A ton to do, but let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Saints got a win on Sunday, their first of the season. And now they try to make it 2-0 against the New England Patriots this Sunday at the Dome. But in the midst of this week, there was a little bit of news from a Pittsburgh radio station. Andrew Filipponi is on 93.7 The Fan there in Pittsburgh. And I would assume that this would be a legitimate source. He's got 122,000 followers on Twitter. He's with 93.7 The Fan there in Pittsburgh, which is an Odyssey station. So a legitimate entity. And he tweeted earlier on Thursday, citing a source that the Pittsburgh Steelers reached out to the New Orleans Saints during the bye week. I'm reading this tweet. The Steelers reached out to the Saints during their bye week to take their temperature on wide receiver Rashid Shaheed, who will be a free agent at the end of the year. Big play wide receiver and return man. Trades are being made in the NFL left and right. Which begs a very interesting question, because as we get closer to the NFL trade deadline, the Saints are going to have some interesting decisions to make about this roster. Who are cornerstone pieces you want to build around, and what are pieces you can trade to get assets to build your roster further. So Shaheed's a really interesting one. And remember, when we talk about trades, you're not just trading the player, you're also trading the contract. It's a very, very, very important piece to remember that people often overlook when we have these conversations. So, for example, Rashid Shaheed is still on his undrafted free agent rookie deal. So Shaheed's deal, as of right now, after his UDFA deal, he signed a 1-year, $5.2 million contract. Shaheed did. So you're talking about a guy that is on a very, very team-friendly, affordable deal because he came into the NFL as a UDFA. He missed a chunk of last season due to injury. And so the Saints were able to get him he's 26 years old on a relatively inexpensive deal. So you look at Shaheed for the rest of the year, and it wouldn't really make an awful lot of sense for New Orleans, like financially, to move on from Shaheed right now. Like, they have a team-friendly deal. He's your best receiver right now. He's your big play threat at an 87-yard touchdown against the Giants. He's really good for you in the return game. Like, he is overperforming. He is overperforming his contract value. The tricky part is that Shaheed is going to be a free agent after this season. And so with Shaheed being a free agent after this season, you got to make a decision. What is Rashid Shaheed worth? Like, are you going to invest into Rashid Shaheed with a long-term deal? Now, we can all understand, based on productivity, ceiling, all that stuff, he is not Jamar Chase. He is not Justin Jefferson. He is not A.J. Brown. Rashid Shaheed is not a top 5, top 10 receiver in the NFL, but he's your best guy. So what is he worth? He's not a guy that's going to get $20, $30, $40 million a year, like the guys I just mentioned. But you're paying him right now $5 million. Is he worth 10, 12, 15 million a year? You got to make that determination. Are you willing to invest 2, 3, 4 years into Rashid Shaheed? I don't know, he's 26 years old. Like, so for the Saints, you answer the question, do you want Rashid Shaheed on your team? Yes, of course. He's a good player. You scouted him. You hit as a UDFA. You gave him the 1-year deal this year to remain with the team. He's playing very well. You want him to be on the team. Okay. What are you willing to pay him in the future? You have to have that number in your mind and then determine if that falls in line with what Shaheed and his representation will be seeking after the season. Because if you have a number what you think Shaheed is worth and they think he's worth more, then he's going to go test free agency. And it may come to pass that he goes and tests free agency and the market isn't robust as he thinks or hopes it might, and he ends up back in New Orleans on a good deal. Or you lose him in free agency. Those are the two possibilities. So you ask yourself, number one, are you willing to pay Shaheed what you feel market value is, and does he agree, his representation agree with what market value is, what his market value is in the NFL? And then beyond that, remember, the Saints are going into 26 expected to be somewhere around $24 million over the cap, which is a dramatically different reality from where they've been, 9 figures over the cap trying to figure all this out. So anyway, the point being, the Saints will be in a much healthier cap position for 2026 than they were in 25, certainly 24, and prior. So they'll be able to afford to re-sign Rashid Shaheed. But you have to balance, what does Shaheed want? What do you feel he's worth? If these numbers are far apart and you feel you're not going to be able to make a deal, then you trade him. You trade him and you get an asset or multiple assets for him. But if at 26 years old and you think this could be a cornerstone offensive player for you, and what his representation are asking for is in line what you believe he is worth, and you're going to be able to re-sign him after this season, then you keep him. The other part of this that maybe should be discussed a bit is the component with your young quarterbacks. You have Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck. You have 2 young quarterbacks, and you're trying to determine this year what you have in these 2 players. Like, are these 2 quarterbacks capable of being guys you build around for the future? Well, if you trade off every asset you have and you just revert to what you were a year ago, which was basically a young quarterback playing with a preseason practice squad offense against NFL teams, it's going to go very badly. Like, Spencer Rattler didn't start his career 0-10 because he stinks. He started his career 0-10 because the 6 games he started a year ago, he had a mash unit around it. It was basically a practice squad team playing in NFL games on Sunday. It would have been like a team of scabs playing against the real team. Like Shane Falco winning a game against the Dallas Cowboys. Like, that just doesn't happen in real life. So to that end, trying to figure out what you have with these guys, these quarterbacks. Yes, I want good offensive weapons around them. I want a healthy Taysom Hill and a healthy Foster Moreau and a healthy Chris Olave and a healthy Rashid Shaheed and a healthy Alvin Kamara and a motivated, healthy Kendre Miller, and a starting offensive line. Let's see what that looks like. So it's very easy. I'm not opposed. Everything has a price, right? I'm not opposed to trading Rashid Shaheed. I'm not saying you definitively do it, however. What I think the point is that you have to consider is what do you think Shaheed is worth in a free agent contract after this year? What do you believe his market value is? What does he believe his market value is? If they're close, then you keep him, you do a deal, and you keep him in New Orleans. If they are not close, then you see what you can get for him. You trade him to a contender, and then he becomes a mercenary for the second half of the season to try to help somebody go win a championship, and then you re-sign him after the season. That's something that does happen in all sports. Heck, I remember the year the Cubs won the World Series. Aroldis Chapman was the Yankees closer. They traded him to the Cubs. He was on the Cubs for their postseason run, won a World Series. He went into free agency, re-signed with the Yankees. Okay. That's one example that just comes to mind, but there's plenty of those. So I'm not surprised someone asked about Shaheed, and I'm not opposed to trading Shaheed. But keeping him may also be the right decision if it makes sense financially. That's one report that the Steelers were interested. We're not up yet upon the trade deadline, but that's going to be one to watch. Because a lot of the veteran players you may be thinking about, their contracts just don't make sense. DeMario Davis, Cam Jordan, Alvin Kamara. It doesn't make a lick of sense to trade these guys. No one's going to give you an asset for aging players on expensive deals. You're not going to be able to trade those guys. You'll be able to trade valuable young players that still have an NFL future. And you have to decide, are those people that you'd rather an asset to get younger and build your roster more, or are those players you want to build around? And Shaheed's one of those, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, it's After Further Review. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. Of course, you're going to be watching the Saints and Patriots this weekend. Grab plenty of ice-cold Bud Light. That's that black Bud Light can with the gold fleur-de-lis on it. They got the officially licensed LSU 12-ounce cans and 16-ounce aluminum bottles. Shout out to Courtney over at Mockler who designed this LSU can. This design didn't come from Anheuser-Busch. This design came from Mockler Beverage on Riga Road. Courtney designed this can, which is awesome. So hat tip to her for the great job. It's a hat tip to LSU's tradition of wearing white jerseys at home, which I'm sure they'll be doing Saturday night in Tiger Stadium against with South Carolina coming in. I hope anyway. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers and the New Orleans Saints. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Darren Teakin with our Fantasy Blitz in 30 minutes from right now. We will knock out our first break of the show. And when we come back, there was a report today that LSU has pre-sold uniform jersey patches. Not included in that report is the company that bought the jersey patches. I'm going to tell you who that is next.
After Further Review.
GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions. Check out Glow Resources and glowresources.com if you are hiring. If you're in need of hiring and help hiring and finding the right people, you're in need of Glow Resources. Now, I want to be clear. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter. They specialize in skilled blue-collar labor. So if you need carpenters or welders or pipe fitters or crane operators or heavy equipment machinery, they do all that. They'll find those right people for you. You're having trouble finding reliable people. Glow Resources knows throughout the interview process the right questions to ask, to vet candidates, to find the right people for your job that will stay. This is not temp staffing. Glow Resources is finding permanent employee solutions for your business to make you more effective. So check them out online. Have that conversation about how they can help find you the right people to make you more efficient. GLO, glowresources.com.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and Duplessis Pool Builders are giving away a dream pool. Every $25 donation supports dreams come true, granting wishes for Louisiana kids with life-threatening illnesses, and gets you entered to win. Donate $100 and you get 5 entries. Where do you donate? That's easy. You donate today at 1045ESPN.com.
Big shout out to Duplessis Builders, helping out Miss Becky and the great people over at Dreams Come True of Louisiana. Great local business. Not business, a nonprofit where 100% of the funds all stay in Louisiana. Granting dreams for children with life-threatening or terminal illnesses. They're an awesome organization. We're thrilled to be partnered with them for so many years, and also for Duplessis Builders to be partnered as well. All right, it's after further review, and we're really glad to have you hanging out with us here. So a bit ago, there was a report, and Front Office Sports was the first to report it. It has been in the works for some time that LSU, and this should come as no surprise to anybody, that LSU was seeking a jersey patch sponsor. We know this year already that Venture Global and LSU have entered into a partnership to have the Venture Global logo on the field at Tiger Stadium, which, by the way, they're still playing games in Tiger Stadium. That hasn't stopped. They still got the numbers every 5 yards.
Eye the Tigers out there. Yep.
They play the four-corner salute.
They do.
The 4 notes and everything like that.
Still happens.
Got it. Great. Louisiana Saturday night. They still do that before the game?
Call them Baton Rouge. I haven't heard Louisiana Saturday night.
Well, let's hope they've just ditched Louisiana Saturday night.
You love that song.
Oh, God, brutal. Anyway. So Venture Global, the logo's on the field, and the next most valuable real estate was going to be a jersey patch. And we've talked about it plenty. And candidly, did get word that this was happening, and was kind of waiting for the green light to be able to report it. But Front Office Sports reported it today that LSU's agreed to a jersey patch deal. And so I'm going to tell you the company they agreed to a deal with. The company is called Woodside Energy. And we reported this up at LouisianaSports.net. If you'd like to go read about it, you can. And I actually have photos because photos. Well, what has been right in front of all of our faces that you may not know is that while the NCAA Division I Administrative Committee has just introduced the legislation to allow jersey patches, and that for games and competition, that's expected to be approved in January. And then it would go into effect probably for fall of 26, so next football season. I guess there's the potential it could be for the spring of 26, so baseball, softball, et cetera. But probably fall of 26. There is no rule prohibiting the sale of a jersey patch on a mascot or on practice uniforms. And LSU currently has the Woodside Energy jersey patch on both its practice uniforms for football and on the costumed Mike the Tiger. So, for example, we have photos of this at LouisianaSports.net if you'd like to see it, on our social media, if you'd like to see it. You go to Tiger Stadium this weekend. If you go to Tiger Stadium and you see the costumed Mike the Tiger, pull it up, please. You can see the costumed Mike the Tiger. Well, he's got a Woodside Energy patch on the right chest of the jersey that the costumed Mike the Tiger is wearing. We also have photos, or photo. It's a single photo of. It's attached to the story. As a matter of fact, at LouisianaSports.net, it's Xavion Thomas in his practice uniform, wearing the. I'm sorry, that's not Xavion Thomas. Forgive me. That's Tamarcus. The zero, of course. It's Tamarcus Cooley. Forgive me. 2 zeros. But anyway, it's Tamarcus Cooley in his practice uniform with the Woodside Energy patch. The thing that I like a lot about this is that the patch is purple and white, or white and purple, depending on if it's a purple jersey or white jersey. So Woodside Energy, their company's logos are red and white, but that would clash horribly. So they made a purple and white patch design for the LSU uniforms. So a couple of things. If you're wondering who Woodside Energy is, Woodside Energy is, well, they're an energy company, obviously. They're Australian-based. And recently, Woodside Energy and Louisiana Economic Development announced a joint venture where Woodside Energy made a $17.5 billion investment for an LNG facility in southwest Louisiana. This becomes the largest foreign direct investment in Louisiana state history. So this company, Woodside Energy, is investing $17.5 billion with a B, $17.5 billion in an LNG facility in southwest Louisiana. God bless you, Woodside Energy. That's amazing. I mean, they are bringing $17 billion of investment dollars into our state. Yes. Can we clap it up for Woodside Energy, please? Thank you, Woodside Energy. You're the real MVP. Not only that, but they've obviously now collaborated with LSU for this jersey patch deal, which is awesome. Because I know the traditionalists like vomit in their mouth a little bit when they see these types of things. And I'm going to tell you today what I told you when we first learned about this possibility, what I'll say every time something like this comes up. If you want to win, you have to be financially competitive. You have to be able, in the past, it was build the best facilities and pay the best coaches and all that stuff. Now, those things are involved still. However, now athletic departments have to allocate up to $20.5 million in their budget to pay the players, to share that revenue with the players. So every athletic department, every single one, is looking for new revenue streams and way to cut expenses. Where can you trim the fat? Where can you increase revenue? Well, some very obvious ways to increase revenue are partnerships like this. Put Venture Global's name on the field. Put a Woodside Energy patch on your jersey. And the thing that I've repeated a bajillion times already, LSU won the national championship on January 4th, 2004 in the Superdome against Oklahoma. 21-14, one of the greatest days of my life. I was a senior at LSU. Never thought in my life I'd ever see LSU win a national championship. Got to be there to watch it that day. It was incredible. Do you think the fact that there was a Nokia logo on the patch dampens that in any way? That I've given a single thought to that at all over the last 20 plus years? No. Because you don't care and I don't care. None of us actually care. We're programmed to believe, oh, the horror, the tradition, the pageantry, they're ruining it. Like the Chicago Cubs have a giant Motorola logo on their sleeve. Like, what are we actually talking about? The Yankees have a logo on the side of their friggin' batting. It's the New York Yankees. Like, let's be honest. Marketing's everywhere. You find valuable real estate. People will pay money for it. It's fine. It's not going to take away a lick from your enjoyment of the game or the team. If anything, you should be grateful for those businesses who are willing to engage in these types of deals, because these are the types of deals that are going to drive revenue that allow you to be competitive in the revenue share space. And when you're helping build roster in all sports, by the way, and pay coaches and build facilities and all the things that you have to do. So, yes, salute, big time salute to Woodside Energy. Not only for the jersey patches, but for the what was that number again? $17.5 billion investment for an LNG facility in southwest Louisiana. Thank you, Woodside Energy, for your commitment to Louisiana, our state, and our economy. That's awesome. So, if you're wondering, you'll fully expect, and by the way, this deal is for patches on uniforms in every sport. It's not just football. It is football and basketball, men's and women's basketball, baseball, softball, track and field, golf, gymnastics, everything. Like every sport. That's this deal. So, terms of the deal not disclosed. I'm certain it is lucrative, but we have the full report if you want it. They're at LouisianaSports.net and linked on all our socials if you want to find out more. If you want to see the photos that I'm discussing, the photos are there at LouisianaSports.net. It's there on the top of the homepage if you want to check it out. Again, LouisianaSports.net. While you're there, man, like subscribe to our newsletter and link it on and send it to people and let people know it's there. It's free. No paywalls, No freemium, no article limits, no subscriptions, none of that stuff ever. Just free. Just go enjoy it. LouisianaSports.net. All right. It's after further review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Love telling you about Rouse's because Rouse's is helping you cover the spread this football season. All right, it's Thursday, y'all. We're headed towards Saturday. Saturday's a big tailgate day. If you're there watching the Tigers or the Saints, Rouse's can help you with everything you need. If you need your beer, your bourbon, your Evermore water, or whatever product you may drink for the non-alcoholic drinks, for the family, for the kids, for whoever, and for you, make sure you stay hydrated. Drink Evermore. But they've also got everything you could need. Your game day trays, if it's your cheese trays, your fruit trays, your party platters, your drumettes, your finger sandwiches, your mini muffalettas, your rib platters. They got everything you could imagine. Grab and go to be the hit of your tailgate. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home. All right, y'all, it is after further review, and we are glad to have you hanging aboard with us. I mean, we got a lot to do. Okay, Darren Teakin's here in 15 minutes for our Fantasy Blitz. Answer your fantasy football questions. Bill Bender in 45 minutes. Giant weekend in the Big Ten. We'll talk about that in the landscape of college football with Bill Bender of the Sporting News in 45 minutes. Lee Sterling's best bets. Jay Phillips, who does radio in Columbia, South Carolina. He'll be here in hour 3 to talk about the Gamecocks. Mike Triplett in hour 3. My goodness, we got a ton to do. We are locked, loaded, jam-packed, and glad you're hanging out here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing.
AFR. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
I felt those statements were completely and totally bogus. If you're going to make a declarative statement, make it. Don't just issue a meaningless piece of paper, which is what Belichick did. It feels to me like it is over. And I think his behavior is indicative of that. Not to make too much out of it, but he basically took a week off during the bye week. And he's entitled to have his own private life. We've said that repeatedly here, but I've never heard of a coach in big-time college football to do something like that. Maybe take an afternoon off to play golf during the bye week, but not go on vacation. So to me, he has checked out. The play on the field has checked out. His coaching has been abysmal. And I think Bill Belichick would be wise to walk out now before the humiliation gets any worse.
That, of course, is Paul Feinbaum talking about Bill Belichick. For the record, I haven't covered college football as long as Paul Feinbaum has. And I like Paul a lot. He's always been very nice to me. But I have heard of coaches taking weeks off during the bye week to go on vacation. I've absolutely heard of that. I think it's just how different staffs approach the bye week. But whatever. So there's odds that have been updated. We have this over at LouisianaSports.net. The updated odds about Bill Belichick finishing the season or being back in 2026 at North Carolina. The talk has been that they're looking for an escape hatch here, right? An exit strategy for Belichick and North Carolina. Will Belichick coach the full season for North Carolina? Yes is minus 300. No is plus 200. So that's basically a 75% likelihood that he will finish the season. Now, the question, will he coach at North Carolina in 2026? Yes is plus $1.40. No is minus 180. So it's about a 64% likelihood he will not be back after this season. I think the only way Bill Belichick is not back at North Carolina after this season is if he gets an NFL job, which I don't think is going to happen, which means I think he'll be back at North Carolina. I don't know what people really expected. That was a terrible situation he walked into. They paid him a lot of money, and they're going to invest in their roster. Their roster just isn't very good. And you can be off-put by his girlfriend being down on the field or him going on vacation or whatever, and people are going to throw their darts and have their conversations or whatever. That's fine. But you look at the remainder of the schedule, and they've got Cal, Virginia, Syracuse, Stanford, Wake Forest, Duke, and NC State. Virginia is the only remaining ranked opponent they face. Now, I know they got waxed by Clemson, but I think Clemson is a much better team than their record indicates. We've talked plenty about that, but I think Clemson is still a very deep and talented team. North Carolina getting run by Central Florida was concerning and head-scratching, and I understand that. They also made the switch to Max Johnson at quarterback last game, and maybe a veteran like that might steady them a little bit. We'll see. But they were outclassed talent-wise by TCU, and they were outclassed talent-wise by Clemson. That's just not a surprise. And they beat Charlotte and Richmond. So when they're punching at their own weight, I think they're going to be fine. I think they finished somewhere around 500 this year. I think of the 7 remaining games, I think there's 4 wins out there that'll get them to bowl eligibility. And that's not a terrible year one. And then you see if you can build upon that. But the noise gets loud when things don't go well, and that's what's happening right now. But it's what's loud around them right now in Chapel Hill. Brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor, parishrestoration.com. As a matter of fact, you go to the website, parishrestoration.com. You'll see a testimonial on the homepage of LSU starting quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, who did an NIL deal with Parish Restoration because when Garrett and his fiance went to buy their home had mold. And so they hired Jim Woodworth and the folks over at Parish Restoration. So you can go read Garrett's testimonial right there at the homepage at parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. And if you're interested in learning more, getting that estimate of what it would cost to dry fog your home, easy. Just fill out the form on the homepage right there at parishrestoration.com. It's a free estimate, and they service the entire state. They do a ton of work in New Orleans. I mean, Louisiana is the mold capital of the world, y'all. It is hot. It is wet. It is humid. That's a breeding ground for mold. And Parish can help knock out any mold problems you have. Parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Oklahoma Sooners.
Quarterback John Mateer officially listed as questionable for Saturday's game in the Red River rivalry against Texas. Mateer had surgery on September the 24th on his throwing hand. He's pushing for an earlier than expected return, trying to play Saturday. Brent Venables said, not sure what's going to happen with Mateer. Really, the question is, can he grip a football? We'll find out, I'm sure, on Saturday.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Running back Fluff Bothwell was carted off the field during the fourth quarter Saturday against Texas A&M. But Jeff Levy said they got good news on the running back. No timeline right now, but all the pictures and the images that they took apparently came back positive in Bothwell's day-to-day. He was injured while being tackled after catching a third down pass. Mississippi State's on its bye this week.
Texas A&M!
Linebacker Scooby Williams missed last week's game against Mississippi State, and he's questionable on the first availability report for this week against Florida. Lower body injury against Notre Dame, and he's missed. He had the open date, then missed last week's game. But Mike Elko on his radio show said we should have Scooby this week. So we'll see if Scooby Williams returns for the game against Florida.
The Auburn Tigers.
Redshirt junior Alex McPherson getting stronger, dealing with ulcerative colitis. Tigers are coming off a bye week preparation for Saturday's game against Georgia there at Jordan-Hare Stadium. McPherson's perfect 4 for 4 on field goals this season, but the illness has really limited his range so far. His weight's around 150 pounds after he'd really struggled to get past 135 pounds for much of the year. But maybe getting stronger. We hope the best there for McPherson as he gets healthier.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
And Tyreek Jemison, offensive lineman out of Georgia for the class of 2026. He's decommitted from the Wildcats. He's a 3-star. He had picked Kentucky back in June over Ole Miss, North Carolina, Georgia Tech, NC State. So Kentucky now down to 14 commits for its current class. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Our Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Yes, they're based out of Baton Rouge, but Blasia's now built a team of more than 50 nurses all over the state of Louisiana. So it literally does not matter where you are in the state of Louisiana. Decision Critical has nurses near you for whatever concierge nursing services that you may need. And by the way, if you're a physician, like this is an appeal to the doctors. If you're a physician, refer Decision Critical to your patients. They can carry out your orders in-home after surgery, after a difficult diagnosis, illness, injuries, and most importantly, the nurses from Decision Critical can help keep your patient out of the hospital, and they will report to you. So if you would like to have a discovery meeting with Blasia about her team, look them up there at decisioncriticalbr.com. There's so many physicians that already refer their patients to Decision Critical. Decisioncriticalbr.com is the website, decisioncriticalbr.com. It's Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Darren Teakin is here next for our Fantasy Blitz. Get your fantasy football questions in on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Hormone replacement therapy, ED treatments, and so much more. I can't begin to tell you how transformative some of the therapies at Goodwood have been. Like, I've told you for years about my chronic back pain. I started on a non-pharmaceutical treatment. This is not pharmaceutical drugs. I started on a non-pharmaceutical treatment from Goodwood. And in a matter of a few weeks, it's incredible. I hesitate to say my pain is gone, but I went from struggling to get out of bed, taking Advil every day of my life, to I haven't taken Advil in 2 months. Look, the bottom line is, if you want to feel your best, no matter what's going on, anxiety, body aches, pains, lethargy, they can help. yourgoodwood.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com. After further review, this is the Fantasy Football Blitz.
Do you know who I am?
Powered by whotostart.net.
Who the hell are you?
Whotostart.net. The Fantasy Football Blitz.
Who the bitten?
This is the Fantasy Football Blitz, powered by whotostart.net.
All right, let's get it. Before you set your fantasy football roster, check with our guys at whotostart.net. Darren Teakin's with us. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Ready for some football.
Yeah, man, we got a good one tonight in the East with the Giants and the defending champs, the Eagles. Who are we keeping an eye on tonight?
Well, I think this is a game that I don't want to call it a get-right game. That's kind of cliche, but this is a game where Saquon
Wait, Darren, I'm sorry, real quick. If you have us on speaker, can you pick up the handset for us real quick, please? I can barely. It's just really hollow.
You got it.
There,
How about
perfect.
now?
Yep, perfect. Thanks. All right, Thursday Night Football. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't want to call it a get-right game, but that's a little cliche. But this is the kind of game where I see Saquon Barkley definitely finding some holes to run through. So look for Barkley to bounce back. Maybe some A.J. Brown, maybe some Devontae Smith mixed in, and, of course, just a good game from Jalen Hurts in terms of a fantasy quarterback. On the other side of the ball, looks like Darius Slayton is out, so Wan'Dale Robinson and Theo Johnson should be the two main beneficiaries from Jackson Dart passing tonight.
Minnesota and Houston on the bye, if there's teams that maybe have Justin Jefferson or C.J. Stroud, some along the lines. Who are we keeping an eye on, maybe sleepers, guys that could be available to fill the void?
Yeah, I got a running back and a wide receiver for you. This is going to be near and dear to your guys' hearts, but I think it's going to be Kendre Miller time down there in the Bayou, just because Kamara, obviously getting up there in age, I could see him going to a team like the Chargers or possibly even the Cardinals that are in need of running back right now that are, a little bit more in terms of in playoff contention. So maybe you might see a little AK-41 moving to a different team, which would open things up for Kendre Miller. Wide receiver-wise, I like Troy Franklin from the Broncos. Sauce Gardner is going to be all over Cortland Sutton for the Broncos, so look for Troy Franklin to see some more targets this week for the Broncos.
All right, let's get to questions. You know the drill. You want to ask Darren a question about your fantasy football roster, email us, tweet us at Matt Moscona, or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Trey said who to start, actually who to trade. So he's giving Quinshon Judkins and Rashid Rice, getting Zay Flowers, Romeo Dobbs, Tony Pollard. It was offered the trade. Should he accept it?
Not a chance. No, Rashid Rice, you've held on to him this long. He's going to be obviously the number one for for that Chiefs team moving forward after next week. So I'm going to hold Rashid Rice for now, for sure.
Lance said Scadaboo or Pollard, who to start?
I think I'm going to Scadaboo tonight. He should find the end zone.
Scott Shirley, who to start? He's got Dowdle or Gainwell at running back, who to start?
Sorry, who was the first one?
Rico Dowdle.
Oh, Dowdle. If Dowdle's, I think that Chuba Hubbard's out again, so Dowdle has another pretty good matchup, I believe, against Dallas. So I think that's probably your play.
Matthew needs 2 PPR league. He's got Cooper Kupp, Mason Taylor, and Chris Godwin. Cooper Kupp, Mason Taylor, Chris Godwin needs 2. Who to start?
I would look at the injury report for Godwin. I think that he popped up on the injury report this morning. If he's good to go, if his prognosis improves over the next 48 hours, I would play Godwin. And then, between Cooper Kupp and Mason Taylor, I like Mason Taylor's matchup this week quite a bit in terms of a tight end. I usually don't go with tight end at flex, but he might be a little bit safer than Cooper Kupp, who's just not himself.
Muse, you missed 2 of them. Come on.
Mason Taylor!
Give me another one.
Mason Taylor!
Sorry, Darren. That's a bit we've had for 3 years here on the show.
Problem.
Jeff said needs help at flex. Devontae Smith and Travion Henderson. Who to start?
Oh, I'm going to play Smith tonight. Just the matchup against the Giants is probably too good. Expecting probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6 catches out of Smith tonight.
Ray's got a question for receiver. Who to start? He's got Worthy or Dobbs. Who to start?
I'm starting Worthy there until Rice gets back. Worthy's kind of de facto number 1 for that Chiefs offense. Looks like that shoulder is probably okay. I mean, I'm not sure, one big hit, he might be out again, but at least in the interim, Worthy's the interim number 1 for that Chiefs offense. So I'm playing Worthy.
Mitch said who to start, Jaden Daniels or Matthew Stafford?
Oh, I can't sit Jaden Daniels. Decent matchup against the Bears on Monday Night Football, so playing Daniels there.
Ryan said he's got a couple. He said this is a who to sit, PPR. He's got Chris Olave, Quishon Judkins, or Devontae Smith, PPR league. So I guess he needs 2 of those 3.
Yeah, I'm probably sitting Olave, just the up and down nature of that Saints offense. I mean, he could go for 100 yards and a touchdown, or he could go for 30 yards. I think I'm just going to roll the dice with the other 2 guys.
One more from Ryan. Jordan Love or Matthew Stafford, who to start?
Well, Love's matchup is a little intriguing. He's playing the Bengals. The Bengals are absolutely terrible. So I don't see him throwing a ton in the second half, but by the end of the first half, he might have 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I think I'm going with Love there.
A couple more here. Ben said Chase Brown, Michael Carter, or Travion Henderson, who to start?
As bad as Brown has been, I think he's getting the ball the most out of those 3. So just by sake of volume alone, I think I'm going Brown there, but I don't like it a whole lot.
A couple more. Tim says Bowers or Kincaid at tight end. Who to start?
Yeah, this is another one that's injury dependent. Bowers just hasn't been himself. That knee just isn't 100%. If he comes off the injury report, I would definitely play him. But if he's just questionable, I think Kincaid might be just your safer play.
Calvin Ridley or Keon Coleman, PPR. Who to start?
Ridley kind of stepped up his game a little bit last week. I don't know if it's a sign of things to come, but I think I'm playing Ridley there just by a hair.
And one more from Matt, who said who to start. Is Shaheed worth an everyday flex start PPR league, even though his quantity of touches is low? He currently has Waddle in that spot.
No, I'd keep Waddle in there just as the number 1 for that Miami offense. He's going to be seeing a ton of targets. Shaheed is, I wouldn't call him an every week flex starter, but he's someone you could plug in during bye weeks and such. But right now, I think Waddle's a better play.
He is Darren Tietgen, who2start.net. It's the numeral 2, who2start.net for our Fantasy Blitz here every Thursday. We appreciate it, man. Enjoy the football this weekend.
Thanks, you too.
All right, man. That is Darren Tietgen. It's After Further Review. Our Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing all over the state of Louisiana. You can find them on the web, though, at decisioncriticalbr.com. Schedule that discovery call with our friends over at decisioncriticalbr.com. All right, y'all. Quick break. Come back. The New Orleans Saints, interesting injury report. Same with the LSU Tigers, as the participation report has one very interesting name on it that we'll dive into. Bill Bender in about 20 minutes here on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020 at the Williamson Eye Center, williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. Remember, no matter your age or your refractive issue, they have a solution for you. So if you want to get rid of the contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center can help. So go see Dr. Blake Williamson. Just go for that consultation. Take that leap. Whatever your hang-up may be, if it's you're worried about cost, well, they have financing options. So they've got an option for any budget. It's more affordable than you think to begin with. If you're worried about the laser, I was too. I've learned that LASIK is actually the safest elective procedure in the history of mankind. No matter what might be that hesitation, put it aside and just go. 924-2020.